E como mai. Welcome from Hawaii Island, Hawaii, at Hawaiian Sanctuary and Mile Marker 12 Farms, where we're focused on permaculture and practicing completing the circle between the sun, plant, and our bellies.
We're going to go over we're going to do an herb walk. We're going to go over a bunch of plants. Just learn one or two or three and just start using them. That all those animals use plants as medicine. How do they know? They're using a part of their nervous system. We have the same The first step is gratitude. Creating sacred space. Okay? So you want to put a frame around what you're doing. You want to create a framework that has meaning around what you're doing. The next step is permission. May I gather? May I gather? Is this a good time? And what you do is you'll check inside and you'll check outside. And you wait for something that's called a ho'ailona, like that mo'o that jumped out of there is a ho'ailona. It's an omen. So you know, creating of sacred space. Do I have permission to gather? And you check in. Am I feeling okay? Would I want somebody in my frame of mind gathering medicine for me or food? Would I want, you also check outside for ho'ailona. If I'm going out with people and somebody twists an ankle, right? I mean, you don't have to make stuff up in your head. You'll know if it's not working, you'll know. I mean, you'll lose the keys to your car, or a bird will poop on your head, or you'll slip and get banged up. I mean, it's real obvious if you're not supposed to be gathering. So if you're with people, you just kind of check in. Is this really working or is this not working? And that's important. That's really important because my personal mission in this life is to integrate things. And what I'm doing is integrating both sides of my brain in this medicine, and what I feel we need to do for this planet is to integrate all the different ways of thinking. To see this as one thing. I don't want to get too new age on us, but that's the idea. So this is important, whether we have permission to gather or not. So step number 1 is gratitude. Step number 2 is permission. Step number 3 is, who am I? I'm introducing myself. And this doesn't have to be the forest. This can be a parking lot or your backyard. Who am I? And this is from a Hawaiian tradition of giving your lineage. Like the Hawaiians will say, so-and-so begat, the canoe tradition, so-and-so begat so-and-so, begat so-and-so, and they'll give their lineage all the way back to Po, the creation place. Okay? I just give my name, and I will give my lineage, as far as I know it, which is Northern European. So I'll say my family names. Who am I? I give my name. Where am I from? Where am I from is my lineage. It doesn't mean the place, although it might include the place. It's about the ancestors. And it's about aligning ourselves. Everybody in this room, everyone in this room, under this tarp, has ancestors that were hunter-gatherers. Everybody. And the Hawaiians believe, and I believe too, that in order for me to be effective as a healer, it helps me to tap into a deep part of myself which is embodied in my ancestry. Next step is, who am I gathering for? And because the Hawaiians gather for one person at a time, they're gathering. I would gather for my clinic, I would just see my patients. But who am I gathering for? I'm gathering for Auntie so-and-so. Why? Why am I gathering for Auntie so-and-so? I'm gathering for Auntie Nani, so that Auntie Nani will heal her lungs. To what end? Why? gathering for Auntie Nani's, and what I do, which I thought was MSU, but then a Hawaiian teacher a few years ago told me that they do this also, is they will hold the image of themselves, or of that person, in a completely healed state. So when I'm gathering plants, the focus is on the patient. It's not necessarily on the plants. It's on the person that if I'm gathering for a specific person. Who am I gathering for? Auntie Nani. To what end? To heal her situation. The last piece of this, which is also the most interesting, is you ask yourself, why am I really here? Not why am I really here on this planet? Why am I really here gathering herbs? And what you do is you check in and you see if there's a part of yourself that you've disowned or you would deny or that you're ashamed of. Like, I'm here because I want you guys to think I'm really cool. Or I'm here because I need the money. Or I'm here because I had to get away from the wife and kids. Or whatever it is. Or maybe I really am here because I want Auntie Nani's lung to be here. But you do a check-in. And when we offer, this is all done to the forest. And from a Hawaiian perspective, these are our ancestors. These are our ancestors and our teachers. Okay? So we're offering, why am I really here? Is there a piece of myself that I'm not willing to own? And if there is, I offer that to the forest as a piece of gratitude. And that does two things. It integrates, which is my personal mission, helps to integrate disowned pieces of myself. But also it allows me a certain amount of vulnerability, a certain amount of, hopefully, some humility in this whole process. In Polynesian thought, ancestry is everything. Your genealogy is the most important thing in your life, your family. Like my mom used to say to me, don't forget you're a Leonard, right? Don't you forget you're a Leonard, right? That sort of mentality is very common in Polynesian culture, and it's that you know who you are in your life by your ancestry. And that ancestry, especially if you're a li'i or you're royalty, goes all the way back to the creation place, to Godhead, to God. In any traditional Hawaiian practice that you're doing, my ancestors, your ancestors are there simultaneously if you're doing it right. And this is not just a metaphor. I mean, they are literally there with you. And there's actually some anatomy to this. And I'm going to go over a little bit of anatomy so we can talk about some plant gathering of some listeners. This is a skull. This is the top of the skull. This is the base of the skull. Now this is both a front view and a top view at the same time, okay? So this is actually the fontanelle, that diamond-shaped thing up top. And then this is a hole at the base of the skull. And under that, there's vertebrae, however many, there's 17 of them or something like that. And then this is sacrum here. So this is a human being, Karanaka. And in Hawaiian thinking, going down the spine is going into the future. And going up the spine and out the top of the head is going into the past. Now this is only in some Hawaiian systems. In other Hawaiian systems it's reversed. This is what I was taught. This is the way I do it. Okay? And there's the fontanelle at the top of the head, which is what is the soft place in a baby's head that closes up. The fontanelle is called the piko po'o, or the manava. Manava means fontanelle, but it also means time. Literally, it means time. The whole concept of time is manava. There's the same thing in Chinese, traditional Chinese medicine. I think it's because they call it the timing of the child, and because the fontanelle is supposed to close at a certain rate. So it's a fixed period of time at which the fontanelle closes. So, in Hawaiian thinking, if you go up the spine, and you go out your piko po'o, your manava, you go out. Above me vertebrae of my parents, and then my grandparents, and then my great-grandparents, and then my great-great-grandparents, all the way back to Po. Po is the creation place of creation, from which everything emerged. So in Hawaiian thinking, if you go up the spine, you go back to Po. So when the Hawaiians are involved in plant gathering, they're or ho'oponopono or any tradition, they're inviting the ancestors in, or some of them are doing it in a different way, but some of them are doing it this way, through the top of their head. And this is the same thing. It's Bai Hui in Chinese medicine. This is a really important part of the body. So this is into the past. The navel, Piko Opu, which is the belly button, the navel. And that is the present. And in some Hawaiian traditions, they say that we have an aka cord, a light cord connecting us from the navel. And so if you look at me, we're not going to get into this too much, if you look at me and say, what do I think about David? He's a jerk, he's wonderful, whatever, this is David, right? Blah, 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 blah. Or you notice me, like I'm noticing the way your hair folds or the bandana. If I'm really watching you and looking at you, the detail of you, I'm doing that from up here. But if I say, how do you make me feel? How do you make me feel? How do you make me feel? What do I feel about David? It doesn't matter what it is. This is from this area, Piko Opu, which is also called the Na'au. And my Hawaiian teachers always said you enter the forest from your Na'au, always. Which to me means you get out of the damn way. Once you've done your due diligence, you've gone on the internet, you've learned the plants, the scientific names, the toxicity and stuff. Once you've done that, then you get out of the way. And you trust the deeper part of you that knows, right? Which we don't often trust, which we're not taught to trust. And then the Piko Ma'i is the genitals, and that's considered the future because that is the place from which the future generations emerge. Now in Taoist thought, this is also, and actually in Hawaiian thought too, this is also a power source. Sexuality is a power source, and there are traditional Hawaiian practices around sexuality that involve generating power, the same way there are in Taoist practices. And they're actually remarkably similar. The word Na'au means guts. Okay? It also means knowledge. So Na'au is guts or knowledge. There's also a Hawaiian word called Au, which is a spiritual light. And if you take Na'au and you add Au, you get Na'auau, which is the Hawaiian word for wisdom. From a Hawaiian perspective, when we enter the forest and when we're gathering, the knees are bent. If I watch my Hawaiian teachers gather plants, they're very relaxed and they move very fluidly. And they're non-pretentious. They're not like most of them. They're not like, they're not putting on airs. They're very relaxed and comfortable, but they're creating something very sacred. But their bodies are relaxed. Because if their bodies are tense or things aren't going well in their lives, they're not going to be out gathering herbs for whoever that patient is. Because that wouldn't be pono, that wouldn't be aligned. That wouldn't align this. So when you go up the spine and you keep going up the vertebrae to the ancestors, that's where we go in our dream state. When we dream, our hane, our spirit, goes up to be with the ancestors, and then we get information back from them. Let's take a break, and I want to share some tea with you guys. I want you to taste some of this tea that we've made. So.